Hello and welcome to Salam Namaste. Broadcasting live from the Now Media TV studios in Houston, this is Saji Salam. This evening we have a very special guest on the show, Ambassador K.P Fabian. Ambassador K.P Fabian comes from the elite pool of diplomats of India, the Indian Foreign Service. He's an author and a foreign policy expert. Ambassador Fabian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Thanks for joining. Let's start with an introduction, KP Fabian, Ambassador. If you could talk about your experience, that would be great for our viewers to know.
Well, thank you. I joined way back in 1964. If I mention all my postings, that will take a long time. So I shall only mention only one or two. 1976-79, Iran, the revolution. So I saw the revolution at close quarters. Then later, as Joint Secretary Gulf in the Ministry of External Affairs, I was a focal point for evacuating more than 176,000 of Indian nationals from Kuwait and Iraq after President Saddam Hussein decided to have a picnic in Kuwait, a wrong decision on his part. Well, I retired from Italy as ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations organizations there. And since then, I have been teaching at the Jawaharlal Nehru University and Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, that is in Kerala. But currently I am professor at Symbiosis University, Pune, and also at the Indian Society of International Law, Delhi.
Mm-hmm. There's a ton of experience there, and that makes you the perfect person to talk about a broad range of topics that we are going to cover. Several countries, several political leaders, several organizations. And let's jump right in with your take on President Biden's foreign policy. What do you think of the policy here?
Well, I am 2 years elder to President Biden. He became senator in 1972 and was chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee twice, 2001 to 2003, and then 2007 to 2009. So when he was declared elected, I had written an article saying that no other president has walked into the White House with a richer and longer experience of foreign policy. And I said that he would correct the mistakes committed by his predecessor, President Trump. Well, I'm sorry to say President Biden has disappointed me in more ways than one. And if, one has to rate him on a scale 0 to 10, I have a problem because I have to resort to negative numbers.
Wow.
I'll tell you why, if I may.
Sure, yeah, I mean, that is pretty damning, but would love to hear more, given your experience in the Foreign Service.
Yes, you see, President Biden took on both Russia and China at the same time. Now, that is geopolitically speaking a blunder. And you see, take the Ukraine war, for example. Well, we know what is happening. The American Congress is not in a position to send the money to Ukraine. That means Ukraine will get less arms, and the European Union also is running into problems. Now, what I am saying is that there was no need for this war. That's the point. As Saint Augustine way back and St. Thomas Aquinas little later, still, you know, centuries ago, they said there are two types of wars of necessity and wars of choice. Now, if you want an example of a war of necessity, that is a 1971 war between India and Pakistan that resulted in the liberation of Bangladesh. That, could not have been avoided. But in this case, when Russia wanted a sort of a treaty and sent a draft treaty to Washington, that was in mid-December 2021. Now, instead of engaging in talks with Russia, President Biden, true to his style of public diplomacy, he dismissed Russia's, sort of concerns. He said that Ukraine has every right to choose its foreign and defense policy, meaning that Ukraine can join NATO. Well, you know that Kissinger, who passed away recently at 100, and John Mearsheimer, professor in Chicago, they both have said that Ukraine should be a bridge between Russia and the west of Europe, and Western Europe, or the West, you see, and instead of joining either, you see. But, Biden encouraged Zelensky, and you know what has happened. So that's why I said this is a war which could have been avoided. That's point number one. Now look at China. He had that, summit, but problems remain, as expected. And I told you about his public diplomacy style. He called Putin a killer in public, and then he wanted to have a meeting with him. He called Xi Jinping an autocrat. Now it's like this. I agree that Putin has done certain things, and you can say he's a killer. But when, as a diplomat, when I am in office, I will never say that publicly. And for the American president to say that publicly, no, this is not good diplomacy.
Mm-hmm. So,
and also, if you look at what's happening in Israel and Palestine, again, you can see that President Biden has not handled it as well as he could have. If you want, I can explain, but otherwise we can move on.
So overall, your score for Biden is pretty low in the negative numbers, and I think this is a very interesting point that you pointed out, that Biden has been, for lack of a better way of putting it, publicly humiliating some of these world leaders, and that is creating a rift or accentuating the rift when he could have not said those publicly. Very interesting conversation here, and let's continue that conversation a little bit. So, with regard to Ukraine itself, so I don't remember a lot of us living in the U.S. and listening to the U.S. media, hearing a lot about the public treaty. I think the media picked up on it. In my view, the media did not cover that much. Ukraine came into focus when the war almost started. That's when Ukraine became the focus. So that is interesting to know. So could you talk a little more about the treaty and what Russia wanted versus what the U.S. and probably even U.K. Did not want?
Well, thank you. What happened was that, as I said, in the middle of December 2021, President Putin sent that draft treaty. But before that, 10th or 11th of November, Ukraine and United States signed a partnership charter, which in effect, meant that United States was guaranteeing Ukraine's territorial sovereignty and also going to help Ukraine in recovering Crimea. You remember Crimea?
Yep.
About Crimea, I want to make a point. Let us look at history. 1783, Peace of Paris, that ended the American Revolutionary War, and America, United States of America, ended the Committee of Nations when England, recognized its independence. Now, the same year, the Russian Navy reached Crimea and they were started building a port, and Catherine the Great was the empress. Now, why did they go there? Sorry for that. They went there because they wanted a warm port, a port free from snow for the Russian Navy. So for Russia, having a port in Crimea, is a matter of national security. And that port was with Russia till 1954, when Khrushchev, for his own reasons, there was a power struggle and he wanted support from Ukrainian delegates and he gave it to Ukraine. Well, at that time it didn't matter because, they all thought this Union of Socialist Soviet Republics will remain there forever. So it didn't matter whether Crimea was with Russia or with Ukraine. Well, then after the Soviet Union collapsed, Ukraine became difficult about access to the port for Russia, and that was one of the problems.
Interesting to learn more about that history there, Ambassador. Let's come back and talk more after a short commercial break.
From all at Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, we would love to wish you and yours health, wealth, happiness, and success this coming 2024. May your business thrive and prosper, and may you become the best you that you can be. Happy holidays and a happy year 2024.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to the Fascination Conversation with Ambassador Fabian. Ambassador, you talked about Putin and Russia. Could you touch upon what went wrong with China in the Biden policy?
Thank you. As I said earlier, it is a bad policy to take on China and Russia at the same time, because then they will get together. Now, apart from that, if you remember, the first high-level contact between China and America was within 3 months of President Biden's taking over office. That was at Anchorage, Alaska. And I remember that Secretary of State Blinken and National Security Advisor also was there, and their Chinese counterparts. Now, you know, it is a convention when such meetings take place for the media to come in first when the two delegations are assembled and the leaders say nice things about each other. For example, you know, if I am the leader, I would say, look eagerly forward to our discussions with the leader of country B. Our relations are important, and it's good relations between us are good for the region, not only for us, also for the whole world, and things like that. And then the media go away. But in this case, Biden, he started scolding China in public. And of course, he spoke in English, which was translated into Chinese. And all the time, you know, the TV cameras were there. And the Chinese hit back again in Chinese and translated. And then Biden again hit back. So if I remember right, it took about half an hour of these two powers scolding each other in public. Now, this is not diplomacy. You know, if I have to tell you something which some of your policy which I don't like, I will tell you that, but in private. in confidence, and that too in a polite, diplomatic way. But the message is clear. So that was the wrong thing. And then you remember that it was decided after a meeting between President Biden and President Xi Jinping that Blinken will go there. Well, then the balloon came and Blinken cancelled his visit. And later, Biden said that, well, Xi Jinping may not have known anything about the balloon. So again, there was overreaction. So what I mean is that, the diplomatic style leaves much to be desired. It's not mature.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking that the Biden foreign policy is getting the Biden foreign policy is getting the basics of diplomacy wrong. The diplomacy 101 about being nice to other political leaders is an area that needs improvement. Is your take?
Yes, my point is that when in private one may have to speak firmly. That is a different thing. But in public, in general, you say nice things, and in any case, you don't say nasty things.
Okay. Very interesting point there. Let's now jump to another hotspot, which is the current Israel-Hamas war that's going on. How do you think the Biden administration is dealing with that war?
Thank you. Now I have a problem with what you said, Israel-Hamas war. That is what the media say. It is not Israel-Hamas war. If Israel has killed almost 18,000 Palestinians, out of which more than 70% are women and children, obviously they are not Hamas. So Israel is committing genocide. I mean it. After reading the 1948 Convention for Prevention and Action Against Genocide, Article 2, which defines genocide, I am telling you that what Israel is committing is genocide. It is true that what Hamas and others did on 7th of October has to be condemned. They were terrorist acts. They had to be condemned, and I had no hesitation. But what Israel is doing now is nothing but state terrorism. Mm-hmm. You see? And President Biden, well, he went on repeating ad nauseum, Israel has every right to defend itself. Yes, I agree. But does it mean bombing hospitals? Does it mean bombing schools? Does it mean killing United Nations employees? Does it mean sort of, preventing Gaza from getting food, medicine, fuel? Does it mean that? No. So obviously, President Biden got it wrong. And now he is publicly and privately telling Netanyahu, please do something, stop killing the civilians. And United States, you remember, United States got isolated last time in the Security Council out of 15 members for that UAE resolution calling for a humanitarian ceasefire. 13 members supported it, United States vetoed it, and UK abstained. Mm-hmm. So United States was isolated. Now, as you know, it's going on in the Security Council, and let us see what happens. Mm-hmm. So America's policy was wrong, and what is most surprising is that Israel is the recipient, the largest recipient of American aid. Mm-hmm. So one might think, that America has some say in Israel's policy. No, it's the other way around. Israel dictates America's policy towards the region. Mm-hmm. So there you see a contradiction.
Mm-hmm. This is very interesting perspective, and I think part of this perspective does not really come through the U.S. media. So it is really surprising for the rest of the world, including nations like India and the foreign policy experts in India think that Biden is not in control, but it is Netanyahu who is in control. So it's very interesting observation there. So let's go a little deeper into this from the United Nations perspective. You've been with the United Nations, so you know United Nations much more than many other folks I've spoken to. So what are the limitations for the United Nations? What's going on? Can the United Nations enact some resolutions like Resolution 377A? Or is United Nations just a toothless body?
Well, it's like this, United Nations was the creation of the United States after the Second World War. It was President Roosevelt who first had the idea, when the war was still on, to replace the League of Nations established after the end of the First World War. Now, Roosevelt had an interesting idea to disarm the rest of the world and have 4 policemen, armed policemen, to keep order in the global village. Sorry for that. And his policemen were United States, USSR, United Kingdom, and China. China of Chiang Shek, not People's Republic of China. We are talking about 1943-44. Mao came in much later. Mm-hmm. When this was mentioned to Churchill was not at all keen on accepting China as an equal. Chiang Kai-shek. Mm-hmm. But then Churchill knew that he could not disagree with Roosevelt. So he said, okay, I will accept China provided you will take France in. France was at that time not even fully liberated. But Roosevelt agreed. That is how France became one of the P5. Now, when it came to Stalin, well, he was, what shall I say, absolutely stunned that China, an Asiatic power, should sit in judgment over us, Europeans. Well, but he also knew that he cannot make Roosevelt change his mind. So he accepted China, but then he changed some of the language in the charter, you see. So that is how the P5, came into being. Now, Roosevelt's belief that these 5 policemen will keep order in the global village was rather naive, because these 5 policemen have committed so many offenses. Either they have started wars or they have supported wars started by others. So that is what is happening with the veto power. And that has to be changed. But can it be changed? Well, I don't think so, because those who have the power, that is the P5, they have to agree for it to be changed. And I don't expect them to agree to changing it.
Okay. That's a very, very good perspective on the United Nations. Let's come back to discuss more after a short break.
Good.
From all at Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, we would love to wish you and yours health, wealth, happiness, and success this coming 2024. May your business thrive and prosper, and may you become the best you that you can be. Happy holidays and a happy year 2024.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new CareWatch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The CareWatch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. The CareWatch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your CareWatch right now. Operators are standing by.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to this fascinating conversation on geopolitics with Ambassador Fabian. Ambassador, given your experience in Iran, I wanted to bring up the topic of Houthis and their Red Sea tanker ship attacks and the role of Iran in all this.
Thank you. Thank you. The Red Sea is important for international trade, maritime trade. And as you know, when the Arab Spring started way back in 2011, there was revolt against a President Saleh, who was the president of Yemen for, let me calculate, probably 40 years of, if not more. Okay. And then, he sort of resigned, and then somebody else was selected in his place. And then there was revolt against him from the Houthis. Houthis are a Shia sect, you know what I mean? And then this president who succeeded Saleh, he ran away to Saudi Arabia, and Mohammed bin Salman, MBS as we all call him, he started a war in 2014, 2015. Well, he thought that, you know, he could make the Houthis surrender in no time, you know, but as of now, there is a stalemate, and Houthis control most of Yemen. Now, Houthis, of course, are, I wouldn't say they are a proxy for Iran. That is a wrong way of putting it. Iran supports them. And therefore, to show their support for Palestine, they have said that they will not permit any ship which is meant for Israel or has any link with Israel to go through the Red Sea. And of course, now Austin, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, is endeavoring to have a, you know, sort of a protection force deployed. Let us see what happens. You will please note that till now, neither UAE nor Saudi Arabia nor Egypt has joined this maritime protection force. And let's understand, Egypt is the most affected party, because if there is no traffic through the Red Sea, then nobody will come to the Suez Canal. So,
interesting perspective here. I wanted to touch upon one more organization before we move on to the changing dynamics of the geopolitics, which is, in my opinion, changing very fast. So this organization I wanted to talk about is the International Criminal Court, or International Criminal Court. So what is the role of the International Criminal Court in all this? You know, vis-a-vis just the Red Sea attacks and also the war in Gaza?
Well, let me put it this way. The International Criminal Court based at The Hague, you know, the statute was signed in Rome when I was ambassador there. But as you know, it is a necessary institution, because, you know, to take care of atrocities committed by states, you know, ICJ cannot, International Court of Justice cannot, because only a state can go to the International Court of Justice. So ICC, International Criminal Court, is necessary. But at the same time, one or 2 points. Important countries, United States, China, India, and now Russia too, you know, they are not parties to this court, you know. So far the court has been very active in Africa, Darfur, Sudan, Congo, and all that. But it has not, you know, sort of taken note of anyone outside the global south. You see, and of course a warrant was issued against Putin that might have prevented him from not going for the last BRICS meeting, not in India, but you know, in I believe in Indonesia. But that is not the point. Point is its verdict cannot be enforced, which is the case with the ICJ also. In fact, internationally speaking, there is anarchy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So these organizations have their limitations, and so that is where, you know, this is a good segue into my next question around the changing world order, with the BRICS coming together and trying to shape up the global South, and they now start to say the global majority. So what is your take on the BRICS?
BRICS is important because, as we know, it was, you know, Brazil, Russia, China, and India and later South Africa joined. But the conventional media way of putting it, for example, now that more countries have joined. The other day I was reading in an Indian newspaper, BRICS now has 37% in PPP terms, purchasing power parity terms of global GDP, as against 30% for the G7. Now listen, this is a very, sorry to say, very shallow way of looking at it, because if you look at it that way, then the United Nations must be the most powerful organization under the moon, because the whole GDP, world GDP, is with the United Nations. So, and don't forget, G7 has a lot of interests in common. BRICS doesn't have. India and China. Well, India has difficulties with China, and China will say that it has difficulties with India. Why? Because China wants, to be the leader of Asia, and India stands in the way, and ultimately China wants to be co-equal with United States and then later overtake it, the Middle Kingdom complex. So BRICS is, from that point of view, there is no convergence of interest, but they want to de-dollarize if possible. They have started a bank, a new development bank, which is important. So it has pluses and minuses, but to elevate it as a body which can change, the international distribution of power, well, that is slight exaggeration.
Mm-hmm. So you are seeing more of a commercial aspect to the BRICS, where economic agendas are coming to the fore, primarily driven by the fact that the forex reserves of Russia were frozen by the Biden administration, and forcing many others to think that it could happen to them too. Is that what is sort of one of the main drivers for this?
That is important. In fact, there is now talk going on in the West, now that both Washington and Brussels are finding it difficult to send money to Ukraine. Why not seize the $300 billion of frozen assets? Now, I personally think it will be very wrong to do that, and it will have very bad consequences. But there is serious talk going on about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's very interesting. So, how do you see China in this whole BRICS situation? China has been very active in the Middle East, brokering peace between Saudi Arabia and Iran. How do you see China's role evolving in this?
Well, China's clout in West Asia, or Middle East as you call it, is increasing. In fact, what is interesting about the reconciliation between Saudi Arabia and Iran is that China never talked about it till it was done. That is smart diplomacy. Okay. Of course, Oman and Iraq also were, trying to do it, but China sort of, announced it only after the job was completed. So that showed that China, to an extent, reduced America's clout in that region. Mm-hmm. And now China and Saudi Arabia might have their oil trade, they have mm-hmm. arrangements other than dollar.
Right. Interesting. So China is now aligned with Russia very closely, and also with Saudi Arabia and Iran, which are the two major players in the Middle East. So this, how is the rest of the world seeing this? Are they concerned by China building these alliances?
Well, you mentioned Iran. Now, in the case of Iran, to my mind, President Biden made a mistake, because as a candidate, he had said that he would make sure that America will get back into the, JCPOA, that is the nuclear deal. But you know what happened? When Blinken was being sort of, the Senate was going to ratify, his appointment, he was asked questions, and Blinken repeated the same language which Trump had used about Iran, that for America to go back into the deal, Iran has to cease its destabilizing actions in the region, and there should be limitation on its missile program, which was wrong on the part of Trump, because the nuclear deal was a nuclear deal. You can't add other elements into it. Now, to get his appointment ratified, Blinken said what Trump had said, in contradicting what Biden had said as a candidate. So later, they changed their policy. Now let's look at the big picture. As we have seen, Russia and China have been getting closer to each other for many reasons. Now, Iran also is getting closer to them. You know that China has signed a contract to invest $400 billion. I repeat, $400 billion over a period of 25 years in Iran.
Interesting.
And China is also sort of exploiting lithium and other minerals in Afghanistan, from where President Biden made a disastrous retreat. I'm not finding fault with the decision to withdraw, but I'm finding fault with the way in which he did it.
Interesting. So, I think this is, these are all very unique perspectives, and for our viewers, this is, absolutely new and different, because this is not the perspective that a mainstream media provides here. But let's come back and discuss more after a short commercial break.
Sure.
The legal profession is not immune to the disruptive power of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping the way lawyers research, analyze, and manage legal matters. AI-powered legal research tools can sift through vast volumes of legal documents, statutes, and case law in seconds, providing lawyers with comprehensive insights to build their cases. In courtrooms, AI is used to manage and present digital evidence effectively. It can organize and analyze evidence, making complex cases more understandable for judges and juries. In contract review, AI quickly identifies potential risks, inconsistencies, and compliance issues in legal contracts, saving valuable time and reducing human errors. The future of law is being shaped by AI. AI is streamlining legal research, improving courtroom presentations, enhancing contract analysis, and making legal information more efficient and accessible. Data Dive, infinite insights instantly.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock-bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back as we continue this fascinating conversation with Ambassador Fabian. Ambassador, let me jump to another country here, UK. And what is the role of UK, if at all, in the global political scene, geopolitical scene today?
Well, it is diminishing, and it has been diminishing for a while. And I personally think that Brexit was a big mistake. And, now you know that Scotland, there is a move to, separate. And, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but should it happen, we are going to witness Great Britain becoming Little England.
Okay.
And also the leadership, the Conservative leadership in London is not doing very well. They are fighting among themselves, and as of now, everyone expects the Labour Party to come back to power next year.
Well, very, very interesting perspective there. What about post-war Putin? What do you think Putin's next steps are going to be after the war in Ukraine?
Well, to start with, President Biden was confident that after the Ukraine war started, by sanctioning Russia, Russia's economy will sort of, collapse, and there will be a revolt against Putin, and Russia might even, destabilize. Now, those plans have not worked out. Putin is going strong. Of course, the economy has suffered, no doubt about it. Moscow may or may not admit it, but according to one calculation of the Secretary of Treasury of the United States, Russia might have lost 5% of its GDP growth. You know what I mean? That is serious. And between us, some of the military supplies to India from Russia, they are getting delayed, so Russian economy has suffered, but it has not collapsed, and the ruble has not become the rubble, as President Biden once said. So Putin is politically strong, though of course women want their sons and husbands to come back, and he's now standing for election, and as we know, it's not a free election. So he will come back with a huge thumping majority. So you are looking at him in being there for many years to come. And all this story, which some of the Western media have been saying that he was very seriously sick, and it was sort of a fake Putin who was meeting leaders and all that. That's all nonsense. He seems to be in good shape health-wise.
That was very, very interesting to learn about Putin and what's going on in Russia, and what your thoughts on the future for Russia. Now let's come back to India, and I know that you've written a couple of books with regard to the foreign policy of India. So how has India's foreign policy evolved, and what is the direction you might provide for the current diplomats in service?
Well, in my view, the current government, led by Prime Minister Modi, has been getting closer and closer to the United States. And that is part of the plan of the United States also, because to confront China, United States needs India. But my overall view is that, I'm not talking as an Indian, it is better to shake hands with the United States and to be friendly with it. But if you embrace the United States, well, the embrace can get tighter at times, and you might get suffocated. So I am afraid, at present, the two powers are doing more than shaking hands. They have started embracing each other, and that I have some worries about that. But that apart, Prime Minister Modi has changed India's foreign policy in many ways. For example, take the case of Israel-Palestine. On the 7th of October, he put out a tweet, X, and said, that India was entirely supporting Israel. Now, the thing is this. You see, when I was in office, the Prime Minister's office will never put up a reaction like that, because the External Affairs will give a draft. Then the PMO, Prime Minister's office, will look at it. They may suggest some change. Then External Affairs and PMO will have a conversation, and it is finalized, and then it is issued. But it seems to me, and this is what I'm told by my friends who are in the government, that this was issued by the PMO without any consultation with External Affairs. And then what happened? External Affairs, after 4 or 5 days, came out with a clarification that India's policy of 2 states, that is, support for an independent Palestinian state, remains. There is no change in it. But something, if I were a foreign ambassador in India, I will tell my foreign office, listen, this is the Prime Minister's reaction on the 7th of October. This is the damage control statement issued by MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, after 4 days, 5 days. But the real position of Government of India is the one given by the Prime Minister. But now, even that is slowly changing, and as you know, India voted in the General Assembly for a cessation of hostilities. But at the same time, what shall I say, the essential part of India's policy is pro-Israel, and I have no problem with that, except that, we have a strong defense relationship with Israel, so which is important. But my view is that we can retain that relationship without giving such total support to Israel. That's the point.
Interesting. Ambassador Fabian, it was a pleasure talking to you and hearing these eye-opening perspectives on foreign policy and the geopolitics that is emerging and changing very, very quickly. To our viewers out there, I'm hoping that you enjoyed the show, and we will see you again, same time next week.
Well, thank you so much. I have enjoyed every moment. And let me say Merry Christmas to you and viewers, and through you to the tens of thousands of viewers in North America and elsewhere.
All right. Merry Christmas to you as well, Ambassador.
Thank you.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved. From all at Now Media Networks headquarters in Houston, we would love to wish you and yours health, wealth, happiness, and success this coming 2024. May your business thrive and prosper, and may you become the best you that you can be. Happy holidays and a happy year 2024.